Off. Yeah, there we go. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday, February 1st, the club meeting for Plano West Rotary. And I'm going to take this moment to turn it over to our amazing past president and sergeant of arms, Steve Lawton. Take it away, Steve. You got a full 15 minutes, so have fun.
Thank you, sir. Happy Tuesday, everybody. First day of February. I'm going to take this time to remind everybody that Valentine's Day is February 14th, and that means don't wait till February 13th to get your wife something for Valentine's Day.
Your husband.
Just trying to keep all of y'all out of jail. Let's see who might want to start off with brags today. John Stafford, you want to start?
Well, I will be happy to start because yesterday was the last day to register voters for the upcoming primary. And I registered 4 new voters for the primary election. So I was happy that we have 2 people who moved into the area, 1 brand new citizen, and one person who just turned 18 become brand new voters.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Tara Bidwell, would you like to brag today?
Well, I don't really have anything to brag about, but I'm happy to see everyone here.
All right. Yeah, I agree. Hope everybody's stocking up for our potential winter apocalyptic potential snowstorm, ice storm, whatever you want to call it, storm that we might get starting late Wednesday night through Friday. Tom Posey, would you like to brag today?
You're muted, Tom.
Tom, we can't hear it.
Tom, you're muted.
I'll get back to Tom. Glenn, do you want to brag?
Oh, sure. So last Saturday we had our Adopt a Highway. It went real well. We had, for several, it was, I think, bring your daughter to Adopt a Highway. We had Laura and her daughter, and Joy and her daughter, and John and his daughter. One of the dads didn't get that email because he brought his son, but we had a great time, and I think there were 10 of us. So went pretty quick, and the weather was, for end of January, was good. So that's my brag.
Yes, Texas weather likes to lull us into getting comfortable, and then it slaps us in the face a few days later. So got lots of people there at Norma's. Who else wants to brag today? Red?
We had our Ryla Roundup on Saturday. It was virtual, but it was great, well attended. But hopefully with the COVID and Omicron going down in numbers and everything, we'll be able to have face-to-face this year at Camp Ryla. And the encouraging thing about it is we finally got a date at the beginning of summer instead of the end of summer. So we'll be able to have more band students there and more football players there. So we're excited.
Thank you very much, Fred.
Steve,
anybody else want to brag now?
We have a new Rotarian, or somebody we haven't seen in years. I'd like to get a brag from him.
Hello, Rotary.
Ben.
Brother Hall.
I brag about Plano Senior High's basketball team is undefeated and on their way to state, probably. They play the Bees
Fantastic
tonight.
Anybody else there at Norma's wants to brag?
Hi, it's Catherine. your treasurer. I will say that though, pay your dues, but I do, please, I would appreciate that. But I do have a brag. I have an appointment to donate platelets to Carter Blood Care, and they're really looking for blood right now. So if y'all can do that, if you're available and able to do that, it would really be appreciated.
Fantastic.
Can I brag?
You may.
I'm going to brag on the Wellness Center, that, you know, my other job. We found out on Friday that we need another huge grant, so we get to expand our caregiver services even more. So I'm stoked.
It's fantastic.
Application.
Jumping back to the people online.
Wait, Steve. I want to make it.
All right.
For
Let's
those,
go.
when I said Benton Hall's a new Rotarian, what's about 32 years you've been in Rotary, Benton? We just haven't seen him in person in 2. So take it away, Steve.
Benton don't feel like the Lone Ranger. Alex uses every opportunity he can to critique me too. So you're not alone.
Been here.
Oh, oops. I haven't seen him in 2 years. Well, Steve, you did make a point. I do need
to go ahead.
Turn your camera on, buddy.
My computer's acting up. I'm sorry. I'm fixing to get a new one. Miss Lisa Leach, would you like to brag today?
Just happy that I'm here.
Yeah, I hear you. What, no picture from you either?
Oh, God, I look like, yeah, never mind.
Yeah, I understand.
I just, well, I'll give you 1 second.
Thank you, Lisa. You're looking good in my opinion.
Thank you.
I'm going to try this again. Tom Posey, would you like to brag? I guess not.
Can you hear me?
Hey, there you are. Hey, brother.
Okay. Just like to say, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Let's wait tomorrow and see what that weather will bring.
Yes. Although most tomorrow is going to be nice too, it's only after sunset, I think, that it starts to get interesting. I know that
interject for everybody in our club. It was 2 days ago, 42 years ago, that Tom Posey founded our club. So we just passed our 42-year anniversary on January 30th. Thank you, Tom.
Absolutely. And for those of you that haven't, you might want to stock up on firewood. I don't have any confidence that our electricity grid is in any better shape now, probably worse than it was last time we had an ice storm. Julia Stafford, would you like to brag today?
Sure. So I have some good news on my professional front. We all know how important our work teams are to us. And so I got some good news. We onboarded our third associate this week at work, and she's doing great. So my work team is complete.
Hey, that's awesome to hear. It's hard to get complete work teams these days with all the challenges we got out there. Courtney Hitt, would you like to brag?
Yeah, so I'm really excited because I'm joining Catherine Goodwin on the Art Center of Plano board.
Oh boy. Woo. Get your paintbrushes ready. I'm curious, that new center that they're building there off of Alma, when's that going to open?
So yeah, that's for PISD, and it was already supposed to be open. So there's just all these delays because they keep finding issues with the construction. So hopefully soon.
That's interesting. We won't even delve into the construction issues. It's not news there. Always seems the low bidder has problems. Holly Hollenbeck, would you like to brag today?
I'm just happy to be here and joining you all. So
Yes.
thanks for having me as your guest. And please excuse my chewing, but it's the only time I have to eat lunch. So I'm joining you all for lunch.
Yes, I understand. Let's see. How about somebody at Norma's? Does anybody else want to brag there?
Okay. Well, on Friday, before we went to San Antonio to visit my dad, I got an email with my son's name on it, an incident report. And I got really scared. But it turns out he had a great day in Spanish, and the teacher was just like, he was so helpful to everyone in the class, and he didn't help one person, he helped the whole class. So I was just proud of him. Oh, and one more thing, my dad is starting his round of chemo yesterday actually, and he's doing great. So he's in good spirits. So I'm hoping that he gets his operation soon, because he is amazing. He's healthy and he's staying positive, and we're gonna get this.
We got anybody else that wants to brag at Norma's before I go back online?
Everybody's shoving food in their face.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I understand. Brian Joseph, would you like to brag? Oh, we got somebody there at the club. Go ahead.
So I may have mentioned a couple of months ago that I was rewriting an easier version of the Debussy Clair de Lune piano piece, but I was writing it for harp. And my teacher helped me with that. And she also asked me to prepare it for use with the Brookhaven Harp Ensemble. So my harp ensemble is going to be playing and performing at some point when we all get it together. It's a 7-page piece. We're gonna all play it together. So that's gonna be cool.
Very cool.
Are we gonna hear that in All About Heart program?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Thank you.
March?
April.
April.
Yeah, please let us know when it is.
It's on the calendar under meetings. She is our program.
Thank you. Brian Joseph, would you like to brag?
What exactly is a brag, may I ask?
Anything that you want to share with us that you feel good about, from one of your kids doing something, birthdays, anniversaries, whatever you want to just say wahoo about.
Well, I don't really have a brag, but I was planning to join you guys at the Norma's Cafe this afternoon, but I smelled gas outside, and I called the gas company, and it seems I have a leak.
Oh boy!
I've got a gas leak at my home. The line going into the house, so emergency procedures were activated, and I have an entire crew outside trying to figure out what's going on and testing for gas within my house. So that's what's going on with me right now.
That's certainly worthy of noting. A lot of times that gas pipe in the ground gets old and sprouts some holes in it.
Correct. So I'm looking into it right now. But I was able to come online, and hopefully I'll join you guys at the cafe next week.
Well, and next week's a special day for you, Brian.
That is correct.
Inducting him into our club next week.
Yay.
So I hope everybody's been contacting him to say hello.
Yes, and I saw some of the service projects. I got the email, and I should be joining the group on one of these projects, one or two at least in February.
Real quick, Brian, you're a former Rotarian. Could you tell us a bit about your past Rotary life?
It was a long time ago. That was in my Caribbean country of Dominica. I'm not sure if how many people are familiar with the Caribbean. So I was a member for about 1 year before I left and came up to the United States. So there are a couple small clubs within the smaller islands, and we were pretty much going out and helping the community within the various villages in that country.
Well, we are glad to have you here in Plano, and you can bring us a little Caribbean culture to our club.
Definitely. Looking forward to it.
Alex, is 12:15.
Let's see. Well, let's do one brag. We can't leave out our guest, Emily Tucker. You want to give us a brag?
Sure. My brag is very in the moment, which is I got done with a meeting at 11:30 and I have a almost 23-month-old. So he's going to be 2 fairly soon. And my mom babysits for me twice a week and my in-laws babysit the other 2 days a week. So I was helping my mom get Gorham, my son, down for a nap. And I thought, can I do this between 11:30 and 11:50? And I did. And you know how that feels when you just get that timing right. So I feel like I'm winning today and I'm really, really glad to be with you all.
Woohoo! We're glad you're here. Well, everybody, we are now going to turn it over to Mrs. Courtney Hitt. I almost said Ms. I don't know why, Courtney. Mrs. Courtney Hitt, and she's going to lead us in the invocation.
Hang on.
I know, I'm waiting for my cue.
Oh, I had it up. Hang on a second.
You had it going before. There we are.
Well.
So now you won't give Glenn McCrary any hard time for roundtable, right?
Oh, I had it. I must have closed it. Hang on. Give me a second.
Never in a rush to give an invocation. Well, while he's finding the slide, James Thomas, give us a quick brag. He wasn't ready. This is good.
Excuse me, Alex. I'm always ready. I'm just still having issues looking at Benton's figure being there. So it will take me a moment. Okay. You knew it was coming, Benton, didn't you? Well, no specific brag, but Benton's youngest kid, I wanted everyone to know that since it was so cold up on the Northeast, Trevor Thomas, apparently when I called to see if he was okay, the weather was too bad, he let me know the weather was perfect because he's in Costa Rica. Doesn't get any better.
Thank you, James. I'm going to turn it over to you, Court.
All right, thank you. Okay, let us take a moment to remember all the religions represented in the worldwide Rotary family. Let us recall that when we were invited to join this Rotary Club, we were not asked if we were Protestant, Hindu, Muslim, Jewish, Catholic, or Buddhist. We were not asked because all religions are welcome in the Rotary family. Please join me in a moment of reflection and thanks with these words. With our friends beside us and no person beneath us, with the bonds of Rotary between us and our worries behind us, with our goals before us and no task beyond us, with a thirst for knowledge and a dream for a polio-free world. We are thankful for our Rotary friends and the meal that some of us are about to share together. Thank you.
Thank you, Courtney. Now I'm going to bring it to our amazing club treasurer who's going to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Catherine. Excellent. Well, next we're going to do our foundation moment, and we're going to watch a short video so we can see what other clubs are doing, utilizing the foundation to help their communities. it's important to know that the Rotary Foundation is our foundation, and we have clubs all over the world like us that gets grants from the Rotary Foundation to impact their community. Just today, Fred was talking about how we're finally going to have Camp Ryla live. Well, that's how our club uses the Rotary Foundation. We use funds from our district grant to actually cover the 4 scholarships for the students we send to Camp Ryla. And we also use those funds for our college or high school scholarship program. So once again, I'm going to ask everybody, make some donations to the Rotary Foundation, because we use those funds in order to forward our mission that our club is so active and involved. It's just like every other club in the world. They use the Rotary Foundation to do good in their community. Well, next, I'm going to turn it over to Roxana, who's going to go through our member moment. Take it away, Roxana.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you. Well, like Alex said, next week we're inducting Brian Joseph. We're very happy to see you today in our meeting, Brian. And so Brian, he's a technology enthusiast. He works for the city of Dallas, and he would love to belong to our club. He can't wait. So everybody, I encourage you, welcome Brian. Also, I have another announcement. This week, we will be sending out a member satisfaction survey. And please, as a valuable member to our club, it's very important to get your feedback for us, in order for us to improve in different areas like membership, engagement, services to our community, enthusiasm, meetings, et cetera, et cetera. So please respond to this survey. It will only take 4 minutes of your time, just to better serve you. And now we're going to the fun part. Can you see this?
Not yet.
Not yet? Sure.
Not yet.
Okay. What about now?
It's starting.
Okay. Well, we're celebrating birthdays today. It's the first day of the month, and today's birthday is Teresa Armstrong. She's celebrating her birthday today. And Erica Gebhardt, Catherine's birthday is this month also. Kelly Creamings and Jamie Jackson. So happy birthday to you, and wish you a day full of joy, and also a year full of happiness. So that's all for membership moment. Back to you, Alex.
Hey, thank you. Thank you, Roxana. Glenn, you can put the next slide up. What's really cool, I don't know if a lot of those that have been in Rotary for a while, we have 5 names up there. They're all women. Do you know we have 65 people in our club and we are 58% women? And that is, well, I'll let Emily tell you how impossible that is. It's very rare. And I think that's awesome. That's who our club is. Well, excellent. Well, for club business, we want me to be quick, is Roxana mentioned we're going to have the club membership survey sometime this week. That's why I said by February 4th. And so everybody look, Roxana, what day will it come out?
On Thursday.
Thursday.
Yes, it's really easy to answer. You just click yes, no, and you can, if you would like to leave a comment, there's space for that too. It's 4 minutes.
So look on your email on Thursday and answer it, because we want to get as many people to provide their feedback. I don't know if you noticed, we basically survey about every 3 months on different things. In fact, I think Glenn's going to come out with a survey next week or a week after soon about in-person meeting attendance. It's not on my slide, but I'll tell you the situation here. We get this room for free. We have a club of 65 members. There's only 10 of us here. The restaurant, they're concerned because they are given us this room and we aren't really using it. So we need members to show up. If you can't, like if you've got a gas leak in your house, come anyway.
Very funny.
But we need more people to show up. Otherwise, we're going to lose this room and we're going to have to either pay them or go out and look for something else. So we really, what we're looking for is what? At least 15, right, Glenn? And so now a lot of members can't for a lot of different reasons, but try to show up. If you're close by, come in, because we don't want to do another location search. No, no, no. All right, so that's that pitch. 2, that's why we thank Mike and Ben, woohoo, we haven't seen him in ages, so that's awesome. Or at least me, and Isabel's coming up now in person, so that's awesome as well. So more people trickle in. Like I said, we kind of made we told the restaurant we should have at least 15, right?
I think we said 12, but 12 to 15, yeah. 12
to 15. So if we get 5 more people, we're happy, and I won't nag you. And we know I'm good at nagging. So
everybody commits once a month.
Exactly. If everybody commit, great. Yeah, this is the math guy. If everybody does once a month with 60 people, we knocked it out. All right. Well, onward. February 21st, we have our board meeting. It's on Zoom. We have it. It's on the calendar. We would love to have more non-board members show up so people kind of understand what's going on. It's fast and furious. We have a consent agenda because everything gets sent out to the board in advance. Then we usually have about 15 minutes of discussion. It's an hour meeting. I encourage you, it's Zoom. You have no reason not to jump in. And then on March 26th, yes, that's a month and a half from now, it's district assembly and it's leadership training. Our club has in our budget to pay for anybody in our club to attend. You don't have to be in leadership. If you want to know more about Rotary, go to district assembly. I know it's going to be in person for sure. Do you know if there's going to be a hybrid option?
Currently, no hybrid, it's in person.
So currently no hybrid, in person. So definitely go. It's a great, I mean, we have over 40 new Rotarians in our club. Actually, when I say new, a year and a half or less. You're going to learn a lot about our district, about Rotary, and you're going to meet people. That's the best part about it. You're going to meet people from all over DFW. Okay, let's talk about what we did last week. We had a couple service projects last week. We had, as Glenn talked about, Avenue K cleanup, which the city calls it Adopt a Highway. We've been doing that for about 5 years. We actually clean up the stretch of Avenue K every other month. So we're going to do it again in March. So look on the calendar, sign up for it. We cap it at 10, so it fills up, especially when everybody brings their kids. My 14-year-old was one of them. And then we also had our food pantry drive-through at Rallison Natatorium, which is at Williams High School. That's what Catherine and James run. And so we did that last week. And so then now we're coming up to this week. What? Oh, yesterday, yes, the 31st.
Yes, yes.
You know what's interesting about this month? We have 4 service projects in February. This is the least amount of service projects that we've had in almost 2 years, which is more than most clubs do in a year. So even though it's a small amount, it's a lot in the scheme of Rotary. So this is a light month for service projects. We have our partnership with BedStart, where we deliver furniture to needy families. That's capped at 10. It always fills up. I don't know if it's full yet, but check it out. It's a lot of fun. I don't know, did I talk about Channel 5 News contacting us last? Okay, a couple weeks ago, an investigative reporter for Channel 5 News contacted me. Get this, she heard about this project on Nextdoor. Somebody was talking about how Plano West Rotary was delivering furniture to refugees, and she wanted to do a story on it. So we had Jennifer Schertzer contact her, talked about our aspect, and then we connected her with BedStart because she wanted to talk to one of the recipients. But what's cool about it is that's us. Next door, it's usually a bunch of complaining. People are talking about the good we're doing. So I just thought that was really great. And then we have 3 food pantries at Armstrong Middle School, February 15th. Also at Bowman Middle School, February 17th. And then Rallison or Williams High School at February 28th. Catherine, James, do we have enough volunteers for these?
Yeah, we've been really light. James and I have been really light, and I understand because during the holidays, it was hard to get people, and a couple of them were when it was really super cold. But actually, I should give like a brag or a shout out to James. He did the one at Bowman where there was only 4 volunteers there because it was a very cold day, and yours truly wasn't feeling well. So James is always there, and I appreciate him.
Thank you, Catherine. But how reassuring it was to have you and certainly John there yesterday. So Stafford, thank you guys so very much.
So with that said, we need more people to sign up for these food pantries. And more importantly, get your friends and people to know. We don't have enough club members to handle all the service projects we do. That is why the majority of our volunteers are not club members. And with that said, the monthly newsletter went out today talking about our service projects. You may not know this, we have over 800 people on our volunteer list. So over 800 people have volunteered with us over the last few years, and that's who that newsletter goes out to. So bring people, tell them to sign up. So that way it's not James and Catherine and just a couple other people. So with that, now I'm going to turn this over to Holly Hollenbach, who is going to introduce, oh, by the way, Holly is in our district leadership team. She is our district membership chair. She did it last year, I think, Holly, or was it? Anyway, I'll let you talk a little bit about you because you're local here with us, and then you get to introduce the amazing Emily Tucker. Take it away, Holly.
Well, thanks for having me as a guest today. It's a pleasure to be here and an honor to get to attend with you all and to introduce Emily Tucker. As Alex mentioned, I am your district membership chair. I have been doing that since Max took over as our governor. I'm actually been in Rotary for 10 years, and I'm new to the Dallas area, January of 2020. The governor at the time, Beverly Grogan, she reached out to me when I first moved down here by request from our governor up north to help me find a home in Rotary and to put me to good use down here, as I was very active up north in Omaha, Nebraska, and the district up there. So also part of Emily's region. So with no further conversation here, I'm going to introduce Emily. She's a supervisor on the regional membership development team. So she works for Rotary and is the regional membership officer for the districts, including our zone and both zones 25B and 29, which includes most of Texas, the Plains, Upper Midwest, part of Canada. She's been with Rotary for 6.5 years now. She works remotely from where she lives, which is Madison, Wisconsin, and she has a husband and an almost 2-year-old. So we're very lucky to have Emily, and she's going to talk to us today. So take it away, Emily.
Thank you so much, Holly, for the very nice introduction. It's great to be with you all. I am going to share my screen. All right, here we go. Okay, Holly, could you confirm if you're seeing just the note, the full slide, or are you seeing notes? And
no,
slide?
I'm seeing notes too. Yeah, so we're
all
still
right.
on.
Let me stop that. It seems like it's different every time you do it. All right, let's try this one more time. Thanks for your patience, everyone.
I know what you mean, Emily. I'm on Teams. I'm on every type of online app you could possibly imagine, mostly Microsoft Teams, but Zoom as well. And it's bizarre to me, the inconsistency in sharing your screen and the viewing options. I think you can go up under viewing options and change it over to slide only, presenter only, as opposed to presenter mode.
Yeah, there's usually, you can usually, here we go, display settings.
There you go. Now we've got the slides. Perfect.
Great. Thanks, everyone. I do this multiple times a day, and I'm always still just baffled that
I have the same
it's
trouble,
different every time.
Emily. I'm right there with you. I'm glad to hear someone else does as well.
Yeah, right. Well, thank you. Thanks so much, Holly, for the very kind welcome. And again, it's just really great to be with you all. And it's really an honor to be with your club, because your club, as you well know, is the fastest growing club in North America. And you've really been an inspiration for me and for other Rotarians across our whole zone pairing. As Holly mentioned, I am your regional membership officer on staff. So what that means is I am a resource to you on staff at Rotary International for all things membership development. And if I don't know the answer or have the resource, I'll connect you to who does. I work most closely day to day with our senior leaders, regional leaders, and district leaders like Holly. So it's really wonderful when I get to connect with clubs directly, and our team of regional membership officers globally is always trying to connect with clubs as much as we can. So I work with 23 districts, yours included. And today I wanted to talk to you all about this new landscape of membership, as I'm calling it, that we're all navigating. So first, before we dive in, I wanted to start by just absorbing some of these statistics that were shared in a recent Rotary International webinar about expanding our reach. I think it's good to just wrap our heads around the global awareness of Rotary as a framework for what we're talking about today. So people around the world do know about Rotary. When we surveyed people in 15 different countries, we found that of the world's leading service organizations, Rotary is actually among the top 3 in terms of awareness. However, only 35% of respondents saw Rotary as an organization for people like them. So I really take that in. And then 25% of people surveyed said they knew someone in Rotary. Now, I feel like these numbers might be different if we were to survey the Plano community. From what I can tell, from what I've learned about your club over the last couple of years, awareness of Rotary is really huge in your community, and that's much a testament to you all. So I think our ongoing question is always, how do we take an honest look at all the ways that we're engaging with our communities, and how do we open up Rotary for people from all backgrounds? And not just that, we need to truly make sure that we are making people feel at home in our clubs once they do join. So it's all about building those connections and opportunities, thinking about our community and all the ways, all the different ways people connect, and not just in-person connections. And again, I really feel your club has been leading change in this way. You have opened up your club to all sectors of your community. And like Alex mentioned, you have really made sure that your club membership reflects all the demographics represented in your community. You've created those connections, you've brought new members in. So today I want to celebrate that, and then also think about how can we keep that momentum going? How can we deepen our bonds within your club with each other so that your club culture and the vibe of your club stays irresistible to your community as we go forward? So keeping all of that in mind, when I talk about this new landscape of membership, as I'm calling it, what I'm really talking about is the new landscape of our American society, quite frankly. And that landscape has a very diverse topography right now. I mean, if you think about it over the last couple of years, our domestic landscape has changed within our homes, our professional landscapes have changed, our social landscapes, our economic landscape, And we hear it a lot lately, but I do think it bears repeating as we find ourselves, I think, still very much within a period of transition, that life as we know it has changed. And as much as we want to get back to what we remember as normal, there are certain aspects of these landscapes that will never have those same clearly defined edges as they used to. And we need to accept that. I am working to accept that as well. I think we all are. And it can feel scary, right? I think it can cause us feelings of vulnerability. It can cause us feelings of resentment, and it can cause this yearning for wanting things to be the way they used to be. But I think that if we zoom out and we look at things from a wider perspective, we hopefully can see that we've already learned so much. Your club has already figured out how to meet people where they are over the last couple of years and bring them into your club. People have joined your club during the pandemic because they can participate virtually. And I know many Rotarians and Rotaractors across the country, they're finding themselves in this whole new world of Rotary because now they can attend their club's lunch meeting from their office when they used to not go because they'd have to spend an hour in traffic round trip to get there. They can also pop into a meeting of another club in another country to visit with friends. So yes, there may be some things that are lost or maybe altered is a better word in our less frequent in-person connections. But I think if we can really open up our minds and trust that connection goes beyond in-person communication, and it always has, if you think about it, phone calls, emails, coffee dates, service projects, sending people cards, going on walks in the park, right? Those are all things we've relied on forever to stay connected, and we still can and do. So just because some members will continue to want to join virtually in meetings and some will want to be in person, it doesn't mean there's a judgment on someone's engagement necessarily in that way. I always try to stress to clubs that it's not necessarily about perfect attendance. It's about well-rounded participation, and participation comes in many different forms. So because of where your club has been historically, awesome to hear about your 42nd anniversary and have a founding member on the call with us. Because of where your club has been, where your club has evolved to be as of now, you have endless potential of where you can go if you keep up this momentum and you really fully embrace and trust this new landscape and know that it's all about connecting with each other. So again, just because someone's maybe not coming to a weekly meeting doesn't necessarily mean they're not engaged. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they will leave the club within a year or two. However, what we do know is that people participate and stay in a membership. They're engaged in their membership and stay when they feel like they belong. So when they don't feel like they belong, or when they don't feel bonded to the other members, whether those are other new members or longer term members, we really find in our research that that is when those new members are likely to leave, or when just any member who's not engaged is likely to leave, when they don't feel like they belong. So really this ties back to our commitment as an organization to diversity, equity, and inclusion, but it actually goes further. Dr. Anita Sands says, diversity is a fact. The numbers are what they are. Inclusion is a choice, right? So you decide whether to include someone or not. But belonging is a feeling that can be enforced by a culture that you can purposefully create. And I think this really speaks to me in terms of a lot of clubs, and particularly yours. You've been so intentional about making sure your club reflects your community. You are very much working on being inclusive and making sure people feel that they are valued and heard within the club. And then it's about going even further with those connections between everyone so that people really feel like they belong. That can be enforced by the culture that you all purposefully create, which I think is really beautiful. So instead of forcing what we think members should or should not be doing based on, our history as Rotarians, I challenge everyone to really open up and truly connect with one another. And I say this to clubs of your size who have had growth, although yours is really off the charts in terms of your growth. But I say this to clubs of your size. If you don't really know everyone in your club, if you haven't connected with them in some way, even if to say, hey, we haven't really met yet, let's chat, I challenge you to do so. I challenge this to all of you as your goal for the rest of this year and next year. Connect with each member that you don't know, and also define your own methods of participation in the club. Understand how you participate in the club, and then make sure that you respect and support others' methods of participating in the club, even if it's different from yours, knowing that you will get that same support and respect in turn if you're giving that out to your fellow members. And since we know we're not going back to only in-person stuff, right? And I say this with having heard Alex say, we need people to come so we can, still have our space within our cafe. And I understand there are certainly logistical challenges that go along with that. But I just want to challenge us all to break open our minds and our hearts and think about what it really means to connect with each other, and know that once those deep bonds and connections in your club between your members grow greater, more connections will arise within your community. Connections beget connections. So then, of course, how do we do this, right? The new landscape of membership, I think, is all about meeting people where they're at. So asking questions. Do you have kids? How can we involve them? Are you homebound? What tasks for our next service project can we coordinate with you to do from your home? It's also about new ways for people to experience Rotary. In some communities, that might look like a new kind of club that doesn't currently exist. In Plano, I feel like that has been the new Rotary Community Corps that you all started to build relationships with people you knew were already Rotarians at heart. And it's about opportunity. Your club has a lot of service opportunities, and it's a huge point for you. Service opportunities. Other just opportunities to connect, fellowships, leadership development, mentoring. There's a club here in Madison where I live. They have tons of fellowships they offer their mentors, whether or not you ride bikes or you cook or you play volleyball or you downhill ski. Fellowships in their club are a huge piece of engagement and also of member attraction, because people go, oh, I can be in this Rotary Club and I can ride bikes on the weekend with a group. Awesome. So I think one could argue that this is what it's always been. This is what the landscape of Rotary really is about, and it's an easy argument to win. That's why I think the challenges that we do perceive with the pandemic and the world as it is, and that it's still ever changing, and as we're bridging these gaps between what our history has been and what's lying ahead, I think we can say these are not insurmountable challenges. Rotary is actually the way that we get it all done, and we always have. So we just have to be willing ourselves personally to each stay accountable, to stay engaged, to meet new people, and to each be leaders. So each of you committing to staying accountable and being a leader. So how do we do this? Of course, these are a few ideas. I'm being cognizant of time. Some of these you're already doing so well. Of course, meetings in Rotary. Regular meetings merely provide structure. But as we've said, participation and engagement comes in many forms, right? So providing engaging and enticing meetings, but also opportunities outside of your meetings based on what current members and what your community members want. And then communicating what you're doing consistently across multiple channels. I know your club has been so good about making that connection between membership, the Rotary Foundation, and public image. And then again, each member making that commitment to connect with those that they may not know well in your club. And then remembering in everything that we do that we need to be accepting of where different people are at, and we all need to compromise and have understanding. And again, I think your club you have so much momentum going. You have been living these, and it's just about deepening those bonds and connections. And to close, we're just in a very exciting time in Rotary, and your club is absolutely part of that excitement. So with President-elect Jennifer Jones's theme of Imagine Rotary for next year, let's do just that. In her speech at the recent International Assembly, which was virtual, she said, for Rotary, finding the right part to engage each member should be our core function. Finding the right part to engage each member should be our core function, Joan said. It comes down to the comfort and care of our members. It is our offer of hands-on service, personal growth, leadership development, and lifelong friendships that creates purpose and passion. So your club is certainly offering a lot of those things already. And I think it's about knowing that we're on this precipice, we have this momentum, and let's really open up and imagine all the great possibilities in the future. And it's not just your club officers' responsibilities, it's all of ours. And with it being our shared responsibility, all of ours, I think that it's a lighter lift, right? So with that, I have, I think, maybe a minute for questions, but I also have my contact information here. Please feel free to reach out anytime. And thank you again for having me.
Any questions? We have about 3 minutes. So any questions from anybody here or on Zoom? There we go. John, do we have anybody putting up virtual hands or anything? Holly, what about you? I'm picking on you.
I don't have a question. I thought that was excellent though, Emily. I think we need to make sure we're always emphasizing the feeling of belonging that you were talking about, because I think I've seen traveling around to different clubs in our district that's one of the things that clubs can struggle with is with, especially, you know, obviously with the new members more than anybody, because they haven't developed those lifelong friendships yet, you know, that you talked about. So it's a matter of, you know, being inclusive and reaching out. We have a mentorship program at my club where each new member gets set up with, you know, a club mentor, kind of along the lines of what you talk about. And we actually make sure, you know, we're reaching out to them, say, hey, are you coming to the, you know, the networking event Thursday? I'd love for, you know, saving them a seat at Rotary on Fridays. You know, the other thing, you know, just a community service project, say, hey, do you need let's ride together to this, you know, across town to this community service project. Those sort of engaging, friendly ways to help them feel like they're part of this new group and community are so vital, and clubs have to make an impact because those are the statistics we lose. You know, those are the people we lose quickest, right? Is the ones that that join, but then don't feel like they ever become a belonged member, right? belonging to the club.
Yes, absolutely. And thanks, Holly, for reinforcing that. Yeah.
Well, there are no questions. I want to say that Emily is amazing. She's been a mentor and friend for years. And a lot of what I know about Rotary membership, I've learned through her. Anybody that hears, I do a lot of speaking outside of our club, and I'm a big advocate for the Rotary Action Plan. And I give Emily the honor of the person that introduced that to me before it was actually really introduced to anybody. And so she did put her contact information up there. Roxanne has been working with her for a few months now. Oh, Jennifer Schertzer just showed up. That little mask, I barely recognized you. Hey, Jennifer. And so, Emily, we thank you very much for speaking to our club, something that we do for all of our speakers. And Emily, aren't you a Rotarian as well?
I'm not currently at the moment, but hope to be soon of the 6250 Passport Club. I'm a little bit in between being in Evanston and now in Wisconsin.
That's what I thought. So she used to be a Rotarian, but she does this for a living. But one thing we do for our speakers is in appreciation for your time and program, Plano West Rotary will donate $10 in your name and to Rotary's Polio Plus Fund. And then together with the 2-to-1 matching funds from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, that $10 will turn into 30, which I know you know this already, Emily, but and it will provide a polio vaccine for about 50 children. And a lot of people don't know, so I always like to bring up to the fact that we Rotary, we're using our polio infrastructure to aid in the vaccination of COVID-19, especially in the third world countries where their vaccination rates are like below 10%, even this far into the pandemic. So the donation, your donation, Emily, will not only help for polio, which we're this close, people, to Pakistan and Afghanistan, that's it. And they're looking great, but it's also gonna help with COVID as well. So Emily, thank you very much. She is awesome. Let's do a big, big round of applause.
Thank you.
This is actually,
Thank
I've
you.
seen Emily present like the formal presentations to big groups. This is the first club one I've seen. And it was very awesome. And I love the way that both you and Holly keyed in on something that's so important for our club, the belongingness, the connectivity, the personal connections, because we have over 40 new members and it's hard to get to know everybody. So everybody here has to, like she said, challenge, go out, talk to somebody. And it's funny, Holly, we tried anybody who was a mentor here, raise a hand who was one of our mentors a couple of years ago when we tried it. Well, the problem is we only had 20 members and we were adding 4 members a month. And so mentors were taking 2 or 3 at the same time. And then we were getting members when they were a month old, asking them to be mentors. Well, now that we've got 65 people that at least been around for a year, maybe next year, Roxana, Joy might try to kick off that mentorship program again, because it doesn't work when someone has to take 4 or 5 people and they've been in the club for a month and we're asking them to mentor. So hopefully with this little stability we have, that'll actually work out. So then we have the goal of having as much involvement as Park Cities Rotary, which is where Holly's at. And they are, I think are you still the largest club in our district, Holly?
Yes, sir.
Largest club in District 5810. And
169 members currently.
169, 104 members more than us. So, I think we're about the 8th largest in our district. But as you can see, we have 4 clubs at over 100 members, and they do a lot of great things. Well, thank you, Emily. I would like to let everybody know next week, February 8th, Shirley Heitzman, she's going to be speaking to our club. She's the District Interact Chair. For those that don't know, Interact is like Rotary for high school. And we have 3 high schools that we work with, Plano Senior High School, Clark, and Vines. And basically, this is where we groom future Rotarians, future leaders. And we have about 9 former interactors in our club as well. So interactors is a right recruiting ground, leadership ground, and development ground for leaders in our community and our club. And so Shirley's amazing. She's actually an educator by trade, meaning she's an administrator for a charter school, and she's passionate about the youth. So make sure everybody shows up next week. And last but not least,
Okay, join me in the 4-way test as we close out. The 4-way test of the things we think, say, or do.
And do.
Number 1, is it the truth?
Is it the truth?
Second, is it fair
Is
to
it
all?
fair to all concerned?
Third, will it build goodwill and better
Friendships.
Fourth, will it be beneficial
to all concerned?
Rotary?
thank you very much, Glenn. Thank you very much, everybody, for attending our meeting, and have a great week. Stay safe and stay warm. we
have a safe week, everyone.
Yes. Stay home. Be safe. Take care.
Thank you so much, Alex, and thanks, Holly. Appreciate it.